What's going on, guys? UCF Jaguar back here with GenJag.com, and I want to quickly apologize real quick because I was planning on coming out with a full recap for the Jaguars-Patriots game on Tuesday, which is going to be my normal schedule, coming out with the full recaps on Tuesday. Stuff came up and I didn't really have time, and then I was planning on coming out with it today, but I'm filming this at 11:30 p.m. and by the time you guys watch it, it'll be Thursday, so it'll be 4 whole days removed from the game, so it's time to kind of move on and look forward to the Tennessee Titans game in a way. But I do want to give a short little recap, and I want to also go into a little bit more about the Jaguars offense because I feel like something needs to be addressed when it comes to that matter. But I'll go ahead and give you guys a short little recap of the Patriots-Jaguars game. Now, obviously, week 2, the Patriots came into Jacksonville. The Jaguars wind up being victorious in that game. They wound up winning 31-20, really holding a double-digit lead the whole entire game. We came out there firing. We dominated on every side of the football, and it was an awesome victory. Our first ever victory against Tom Brady. You guys all know Everbank was packed. Everbank was awesome. Jaguars fans are super happy right now, super optimistic about the season, and it was an awesome game to watch. I'll just put it like that. But, there's a few things. Blake Bortles, obviously, tremendous game. 4 touchdowns, 64% completion percentage. He threw for 370. He ran for 35 yards on his feet, being able to pick up a bunch of third and longs. He was incredible. This is probably Blake Bortles' best game of his NFL career. And, Blake Bortles is a guy, I don't really like talking about him too much on my channel. I mean, after the Jaguars here's the reason why. After the Jaguars made their big, playoff run, after they did their thing in the playoffs, I basically gave my opinion about what we should do with Bortles, what we should do at the quarterback position. I gave you guys my reasons why I think we should keep Bortles. I just thought he's got a lot of potential. I thought that he can be a franchise quarterback. He has a lot of intangible stuff. He's a tough guy, doesn't get injured. He's able to stand in the pocket, make throws. When he is on, he is on. He is a playmaker. He's a gritty dude, and just, get him in a second year with Nathaniel Hackett's offense, I thought he could do big things. And the Jaguars did decide to re-sign him. So after that, I was a little bit quiet about Bortles just because I said, hey, we all have seen a 4-year sample size of Bortles. You either like him or you don't like him. There's not much debate on it. I felt like when I go on this channel, I like to bring up topics that make up good kind of debate topics. I feel like I can go out there and give my opinions on a guy like Dante Fowler Jr. I feel like people will be really receptive to it. But when it comes to Blake Bortles, it's almost like sometimes trying to convince an FSU fan to be a Gator fan. You have your opinions about Blake Bortles, and we're in wait-and-see mode with Blake Bortles. We're going to see how he does in the 2018 season and get a real analysis on him at the end of the year because he's our guy for the whole entire year. And, we'll see how the Jaguars do it, man. So that's kind of what I had to say about Blake Bortles, man. He played tremendous this game, running a lot of stuff out of the shotgun. We didn't have Fournette, and obviously we were able to spread the ball all around. Corey Grant had a great game. Our 2 receivers, young receivers, D.D. Westbrook and Keelan Cole had tremendous games. Dante Moncrief had a good game. Our offense overall was really, really good. Even our offensive line. Now, granted, we lost left tackle Cam Robinson for the season with torn ACL, which obviously sucks. We lost a starter at the left tackle position, but the thing about that is, when you look at the whole entire Jaguar starting offensive line, Cam Robinson is probably the weak link. Now, the thing about Cam Robinson is, he's a second-round pick in 2017, so he's going into his second season. He's obviously a guy that's more about potential than actual productivity on the field, but he's probably going to be, Josh Wells is probably going to be the starting left tackle unless Josh Walker somehow beats him out. Now, Josh Wells, he played a really good game actually last, Sunday. He went in and you really didn't notice him, and when you don't notice an offensive lineman, then they're probably doing pretty good because they're not making mistakes. Now I think a guy with Josh Wells, he is better at the left tackle spot than the right tackle spot. He has been a swing tackle in his career, at least with the Jaguars, and yeah, I mean, he's better at left tackle, so we'll kind of see how that progresses. We lose a guy like Cam Robinson, but at the end of the day, man, Cam Robinson was kind of the weak link when it comes to our starting offensive line. I feel like that guy was due for at least a false start and a holding call every game. I mean, the guy wasn't very disciplined. He was almost like a Dante Fowler on the offensive line. He just gets reckless penalties, but, he's a beast, with a lot of potential. But hopefully this guy, when he gets healthy, he can work on his technique a little bit, and we can move on with him as our guy at left tackle. So, that's kind of with that front. On the defensive side, the defense played all right. Obviously they were giving up some chunk plays to Tom Brady, but at the end of the day, they kept everything in front of them. They got one touchdown at the very end and kind of junk time. But, we didn't have Leon Jacobs this game. You had, instead of being able to play another linebacker, they were basically playing Ronnie Harrison in there at the kind of a box safety role in the defense. Dante Fowler had obviously the play of the game, I think, in a strip sack on Tom Brady, where it was a 3rd and 9. If they incomplete the pass, then they kick a field goal, and that field goal would bring them to an 8-point deficit. So that's a 1-possession game all of a sudden, which would have been bad. And if he doesn't get to the quarterback, he might complete the pass and end up getting a touchdown and only being down 3 or 4 points. So that was pivotal. I've been saying, even all offseason, Dante Fowler is a big part of this team. Dante Fowler, to be able to have a backup defensive end, to be able to have his kind of production, be able to have a pass rusher go in there and make plays like he did against the Patriots, it's huge. Dante Fowler, great player. Obviously, kind of a nuthead in some cases, but whatever. He's a good piece of the defense. But, yeah, kind of a short little recap of the game, but now I want to kind of move on and talk about a bigger picture thing. And, as we all know, last game, Jaguars were without Leonard Fournette, and we were all a little worried about that just because Fournette is the best offensive weapon on our team. Our offense is built around Leonard Fournette. We have a great offensive line for him. We have kind of a game manager quarterback in some senses, and, our receivers all look to be kind of subpar. I mean, I guess kind of potential based, whatever. I mean, that's kind of the perception that I'm getting at with you guys. But history shows, man, Fournette has missed 4 games for the Jaguars. And in those 4 games, our offense has been tremendous. You know what I mean? Blake Bortles has been tremendous. We're 4-0 in that span. Blake Bortles completes the ball at like a 67% completion percentage. And, you saw with the difference between the New York Giants game and the Patriots game is that our offense was wide open in the Patriots game. I mean, Blake Bortles was making plays. All of a sudden, you had guys like Austin Seferian-Jenkins out there making plays. It opened up for more of our running backs to do stuff. Our wide receivers really emerged, especially with Keelan Cole and Dede Westbrook. And our offense looked completely different. And Blake Bortles is out there and shotgun, just doing all kinds of stuff. And, the difference between our offense, when Fournette is in there, we run a lot of single back set, I formations with fullbacks, and we like to pound the ball. But with Leonard Fournette out of the game, we all of a sudden were primarily in a shotgun formation. And I think that works really well with our offense with like Blake Bortles, because I noticed Blake Bortles is a lot more comfortable in the shotgun formation. He's able to sit back there. A lot of times it's a loaded box. He can kind of bring a guy in motion, bring him back just to kind of see if they're playing man versus zone. And he is able to pick apart the Patriots defense. You know what I mean? There were a lot of man-on-man situations where Blake said, hey, I've got this guy one-on-one. I'm going to go whoop his ass. And that's basically what he did. I mean, he had passes to Moncrief, like Keelan Cole. I mean, a drag route was open all day because that's a really good play to have when it comes to man coverage, just because usually the guy on the drag route has, a step or two on the guy defending him. And, Leonard Fournette, he's a guy who's better when it comes to running out of the, an I formation or single back set, just because he's like a downhill runner. But our offense seems to be better when we're run like more of a, shotgun zone read kind of system. Leonard Fournette's more of a gap scheme runner, where you basically, it's basically read from the inside out, where, your first read is usually between the center and guard. That's the first hole you want to take. If that's clogged out, you kind of read from the outside. But in a zone running scheme, which is what, Yeldon's better at, you notice that the handoffs are out of shotgun and he stands back. And, an extreme example of this is like a Le'Veon Bell, where you see Le'Veon Bell go back there and sit and just wait for stuff to open. He's more of a zone runner. It's kind of like TJ Yeldon. He goes back there and he's got great vision. He waits for holes to open and he kind of runs through that hole. That's kind of the kind of runner that TJ Yeldon is. But Leonard Fournette has always been better out of the single back I formation. That's what he ran in college. But I want to see Fournette be able to transition to more of a shotgun kind of set, and this is kind of where the theme of this video is. How should we change our offense? I want to see the offense that was against the Patriots. I don't want to see the offense that was out against the Giants, where we're squeezing out yards, we're running on first and second down. Next thing we know, we have a third down that we have to convert with a Blake Bortles who hasn't thrown the ball in so long, where he's kind of got like cold shoulder. I love seeing Blake Bortles this game, man. I mean, he was in shotgun. He looked completely comfortable back there. It's a lot easier to read a defense when you're back in a shotgun set. You can kind of see what guys are doing, as opposed where you're under center, kind of closer up to things. But, I mean, Blake Bortles, he was throwing a lot on first down, completing a lot of passes that way. He was extremely efficient on third down. When it comes down to it, guys, this is a quarterback's lead. Quarterbacks, the strength of your quarterback, usually how good your team is. Now, we kind of went, away from that and kind of built stuff through the running back. But, I mean, we've seen what Blake can do. We've seen what a comfortable Blake that is in rhythm can do. Blake's a playmaker. I mean, he was out there making incredible reads, really reading the defense well. He had great protection back there. And, I really think that we're going to see kind of Blake blossoming into a great quarterback. I have a guy that's been, kind of tirelessly supporting a guy. I've always just seen his big play ability. He's got a lot to offer. And, I liked what I saw out of Blake in only his second game of the season. I think he's going to be much improved. He's really won over his teammates. And, another thing that I was seeing when we were in this new kind of shotgun set was Corey Grant getting used a lot more. Now, in the Giants game, this was a dude that only had 6 snaps all game, and that's even with Fournette leaving in the second quarter. You know what I mean? I don't know why Corey Grant wasn't in our, offense that game, but, now with the shotgun set, he was in there a lot more. One thing we do a lot is RPOs. I think our offense is great when it comes to our run-pass option because, first of all, any running back you give it to, whether it be Fournette, TJ Yeldon, Corey Grant, they're all 3 completely different players. They're all dynamic players. They all have their own things, Fournette, he's got power. He's also got a lot of speed to back up that power. He can smack your ass in the mouth. TJ Yeldon, he's a very decisive runner, very good vision. He's also pretty athletic. He doesn't necessarily have all that breakaway speed, but he's a very, very solid running back for our team. And also Corey Grant. Corey Grant's a guy, he's undersized definitely, but we need to use him like a Darren Sproles. We need Hackett to look on, Philadelphia, San Diego Chargers game film to see how they use Darren Sproles, because we have a Darren Sproles in our offense, and his name is Corey Grant. I mean, Corey Grant's a guy who breaks tackles. People come at his feet and he breaks them. We saw multiple broken tackles against the Patriots. He's also a guy who makes people miss very, very well. If you have Corey Grant and a cornerback in the open field, Corey Grant's going to win that battle because he's got speed, he's got agility, he's going to beat your ass. And, that's what I love out of Corey Grant. He's a fan favorite. Corey Grant needs to be a feature role on this offense because, he makes people miss better than Fournette probably does, and I love the RPO because, like I was saying, you can give it to one of the running backs. You could potentially, throw it to do a bubble screen. You can maybe throw it to somebody on a fade or a drive. It just gives you so many options. It keeps the linebackers guessing. We also have a quarterback that can run the ball very well. If he wants to keep it, you saw him against the Giants. He had a 40-plus yard run on, a RPO kind of thing where he kept the ball. You saw against the Patriots, this dude was picking up 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9s on the ground. That stuff doesn't usually happen. We have a quarterback. It's highly underrated in, the run game. Everyone looks like guys like Dak Prescott, Marcus Mariota. No. Blake Bortles is a tremendous runner, and, I think we need to be able to use that in our offense. I'm not trying to run him too much, not trying to get him hit too often, but at the same time, man, he's a tough guy. He usually always gets back up, never really missed any time due to injury. And, Bortles, man, I feel like With this offense, we also have tremendous wide receivers. I mean, you saw Keelan Cole out there really emerge. We saw D.D. Westbrook in his second year take a drag route. This guy was supposed to get tackled for like a 10-yard gain. He takes it all the way up and gets a damn touchdown with his boy Keelan Cole blocking for him. I mean, we have untapped potential on this offense when it comes to playmakers. Keelan Cole, D.D. Westbrook, they're really good. Moncrief, you saw him go out there and make some plays. If we can get that back shoulder pass down, it looked a lot better in this game. That could be very, very good. Obviously, TJ Yeldon, Corey Grant, those guys are great players. Austin Seferian-Jenkins is really emerging into a good pass-catching tight end threat. And, this offense, when we run out of the shotgun set, we get to feature a lot more players. And, one thing that Steve Smith was saying before this game, and I didn't even thought about this, but even before Fournette was, before the game, he said, he likes the Jaguars offense more without Fournette because it's a lot less predictable. And that's extremely true. Usually when I watch Jaguar games with Fournette in there, it's like first down, okay, they're going to run it with Fournette. He gets a run, 4-yard gain, cool. This game, we're going out on first down, and I'm sitting here like, are we going to run it? No, Blake Bortles is back there in an empty backfield, and he steps back and just, throws it. It reminds me of him in his last year at UCF where he was just comfortable, he was having fun, and, Blake Bortles has full command of the offense. You can tell he's out there having fun. This is a different Bortles than we've seen from 2016 and years past. And this offense has a lot of untapped potential. We have a top offensive line even in the NFL. We have a great set of running backs. We have good tight ends. I'll say good tight ends. We have potentially great wide receivers, underrated wide receivers that haven't made a name for themselves yet, but could be very, very good. And we have an ascending quarterback. We have a quarterback that had his best game as an NFL pro in his second game of the season. And, when Blake Bortles was handed that 3-year, $54 million deal, they didn't say, okay, Blake, we're going to give you this deal. We liked how you did in 2017. We want you to play like that again. No, they gave him the deal because they said, look how you finished off the year. You were tremendous, but if you can be better than that, we can be a damn good team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, can you imagine if Blake Bortles played at a Pro Bowl level, how good this damn team would be? We'd be unstoppable, man. I mean, the AFC, man, what's out there? Patriots are decent, but, they're kind of dropped off a little bit when it comes to the defense, but they always have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick out there. The Steelers, I don't know what the hell is going on over there. I mean, Le'Veon Bell's not showing up. Antonio Brown's tweeting out, trade me. They're spiraling out of control, man. Kansas City Chiefs, they're emerging. Patrick Mahomes looking good, great offense. Still skeptical about the defense, but man, when it comes to roster-wise, this Jaguars team is the best in the AFC. And if Blake Bortles can play at a Pro Bowl level and even a top 10 level, we could be very, very good. And the Blake Bortles I saw last Sunday is the Blake Bortles I want to see more of throughout this season because he's lethal when he plays great. And yeah, that's kind of what I want to touch on. I want to give a short little recap of the Patriots game, but get more into how I feel like our offense needs to look. And I'll be coming out with a Titans preview probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely the next day. I'm not going to skip a preview video because I love doing preview videos. We have the Titans next game. Big game. It's a big game. I'll talk more about it later, but it's a big game. So yeah, that's the end of my video. Hope you guys like it. As you see at Jaguar with JenJag.com. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm out.